A phase-lock loop, or commonly abbreviated as PLL, is basically a closed-loop feedback system. The action of the PLL is to log the output frequency and phase to the frequency and phase of an input signal. The input signal can be sinusoidal or digital. A phase looking is not new principle. Synchronization reception of radio signal using PNL technique was described as early as 1932. Implementation of PLL with the discrete components involves circuits of considerable cost and complexity. For this reason, the use in the past has been limited to specific measurements. The development of monolithic PLL now make it highly economical as well as reliable. The basic block diagram of a PLL is shown in the figure. It has got a phase detector, low pass filter, amplifier, and a voltage controlled oscillator. Phase detector will detect the phase difference between two input signal. One is a input signal, either it is an AM signal, FM signal, etc. And another input to the phase detector is output waveform from the VCO, voltage control oscillator. The phase detector is of two types. In digital PLL, phase detector may be XOR or flip-flops. In analog PLL, phase detector is implemented using analog multiplier. When you multiply two sinusoidal signal, you will be getting some frequency and difference frequency. This sum frequency will be eliminated by using low pass filter, and difference frequency will be amplified, and it will be given as a controlling signal to the voltage control oscillator. Depending upon this controlling signal, the output frequency will be varied. Usually VCO output will be square wave. Okay. The mechanism is like that. Since it is a closed loop control system, this VCO output frequency will try to catch up with the input frequency, and finally when will be low under the low condition, VCO frequency will be exactly same as the input frequency. Okay. So that's a basic transfer function of a phase detector. As the phase error increases, this error voltage will be increasing. As you know, frequency is nothing but the rate of change of phase. So as the phase changes between two signals, then the frequency also will be changing. Okay. So the input signal is frequency and the output signal is voltage, represented by the difference in the frequency between the two input and the internal VCO. Okay, that's the mechanism. It's a basically closed control system. So it has got three mode of operations. So if the three mode of operation is, first is lock, then second is tracking, then say out of lock. If So if you are not giving any controlling signal to the input of a VCO, the VCO will be operated on its free running frequency, depending upon the components, external components, resistance and capacitance connected with the PLL. So when the input frequency is nearby the VCO's free running frequency, okay, it will be getting low, then the VCO frequency will be exactly same as the input frequency. Then if the input frequency is not equal to the VCO's free running frequency, but it is nearby the VCO's free running frequency, it will track and it will capture with the input and it will come into the low condition, so that VCO frequency will be exactly same as the input frequency. But if the input frequency is much far away from the free running frequency, the VCO cannot, never it will catch up with the input frequency, and the VCO frequency will be running its own free running frequency. Once the PLL got low, then the input frequency and VCO frequency will be same. Then there may be a phase difference between the input frequency and VCO frequency. Under the low condition, the phase difference will be 90 degree. That phase shift will be used to control the VCO frequency. So finally, the output of the PLL is the output from the amplifier, that is a DC voltage for a slow varying input frequency. Okay, a small varying DC voltage or small frequency AC signal proportional to the change in the input frequency. So the input frequency and the internal VCO output frequency are applied to the phase dictator. Okay. If they are the same, the phase dictator output voltage indicates no error. This is no error is filtered and the amplified before it is made available to the output. The no error voltage is also applied to the internal VCO input to maintain the VCO output frequency. If the input frequency does not equal to the VCO frequency, then the phase comparator output an error voltage. This error voltage is filtered and amplified and made available to the output. Okay. The error voltage is also applied to the VCO input. This causes the VCO to change the output frequency. This looping continues until VCO has adjusted to the new input frequency and they are equal again. This is the locking mechanism. Okay. So, if the input frequency is nearby the VCO frequency, it will try to catch up with the input frequency. Okay. So, VCO, the difference between input and VCO frequency is going higher and lower to the other end. So it will be a damped oscillation type. This error voltage, okay, this error voltage will be a damped oscillation type. Then finally it will be settling to a DC voltage corresponding to the phase difference between the input and VCO. Okay. So that is once it has acquired the low condition. So this is your tracking mode. So first PLL has to track with the input signal, and once it is tracked, it will be under the lock condition. Okay. So it has got a pulling time. So the minimum time required to the VCO frequency to be exactly equal to the input frequency. Okay. Then in case of out of lock mode, when the input frequency does not equal to the VCO frequency and the resulting error voltage does not cause the VCO to catch up with the input frequency, system is out of line. This is the condition when the input frequency is far away from the VCO frequency. So the PLL has got two ranges of frequency, lock range and capture range. So this is the free running frequency of the VCO. If the input frequency coming nearer to the free running frequency, it will first capture, okay, with the input frequency. So the frequency range for which the input frequency the PLL can acquire the low condition is called the capture range. For example, if you are taking the free running frequency of the PLL is 100 megahertz, then the capture range may be, for example, 98 megahertz to 102 megahertz. Once the PLL acquired the capture process and it is under the PLL can maintain the lock condition for a longer frequency range. This is called the lock range. So that under the lock condition, even if the input frequency is varies, VCO frequency try to lock with the input frequency. So that frequency range is called the lock range. For example, for a 100 megahertz free running frequency, you can consider the lock range maybe 90 megahertz to 110 megahertz. So if the input frequency goes beyond the lock range, even it has occurred the capture condition, then this PLL will come out of the lock condition and PLL VCO will be going to run at its free running frequency. So if the input frequency is within the lock range only, it can maintain, PLL can maintain VCO frequency is exactly equal to input frequency. So block diagram and transfer function of the PLL. Okay, so you have got an input signal Vi, VCO frequency, VCO signal is V0, input frequency is Fi, and VCO frequency is F0. Okay. So in the phase detector, you will be detecting the phase difference between the input signal and VCO signal. So we will be getting an error phase. So in the phase detector has got a gain KD. So the transfer function of the phase detector is this one. Okay. As the error increases, the difference voltage, if the phase difference between the input and VCO going on increasing, then the difference or error voltage will be going to be increasing. Okay. When the phase shift between input and output is 0 and frequency is exactly same, then there will not be any error voltage. Okay, then there will not be any error voltage. So this curve is passing through the origin, and slope of this curve is the gain of the phase detector. Okay, that is volt per the phase shift. Okay. Then that error voltage, difference voltage is filtered using a low pass filter and fed back as the control signal to the VCO. This is the transfer curve of your VCO. VCO has got a sensitivity K0. Sensitivity of VCO means what is a change in output frequency for a unit change in the controlling voltage. So that is angular frequency here per 1 volt. So if the feedback signal corresponding to a difference voltage is 0, then VCO will be operated on its frequency omega c. Okay. As this your feedback signal increases depending upon the phase shift. As the phase shift increases, feedback signal will be increasing. Then output frequency of the VCO will be increasing. If the difference is going on the negative side, then it will be going negative. So slope of this curve is nothing but the sensitivity of the VCO or the gain of the VCO. So general equation for the output angular frequency of the VCO is like this. Output frequency is omega c plus S0 is a sensitivity into feedback signal. This is of the form of pi is equal to mx plus c. Okay. So C intercept is the your pre-running frequency. So this is a transfer function of your phase detector. Phase detector output voltage will be gain of the phase detector into phase difference between input and the VCO signal. So this is a transient response of your PLL. So this is under the first it is under the low condition, so that input frequency and output frequency is exactly same. Okay, this PLL is under the low condition, so input frequency and output frequency is exactly same. So input frequency is constant, but at this instant, this input frequency suddenly increase. So input frequency suddenly increase. So there will be a phase difference between input and VCO output waveform. So phase shift will be increasing, going on increasing. So this is a phase shift, error phase shift, error phase shift between the input and VCO frequency going on increasing. So this difference voltage also will be going on increasing. So this feedback voltage will be increasing. Since the feedback voltage increases, VCO output frequency will be increasing. So this VCO frequency will be increasing. So that will catch up with the input frequency. So the phase difference will be going on decreasing. So finally, this feedback voltage will be settled to a DC voltage if the input frequency remains constant after that change. So this feedback voltage will maintain the input frequency and the VCO frequency exactly same. Let us consider the PLL under the frequency domain analysis. So, as I said, frequency is nothing but rate of change of phase with respect to time. So, you have got an input frequency, angular input frequency omega I. By integrating that, you will be getting the phase. So, integration in frequency domain is nothing but 1 by S. Okay. So, this is your VCO. VCO has got the sensitivity K0. So, the angular output frequency of the VCO is omega 0. Since we are interested on the phase, so integrating the angular, we can see we will be getting the phase of the VCO. Okay, 1 by S is nothing but your VCO. 1 by S is nothing but the integration in the frequency domain. Okay. So this much is your phase detector. Okay, phase detector. Phase detector has got the gain KD. So you will be taking the difference between the input phase and VCO's frequencies phase. So we'll be getting the difference in phase. So your phase detector will produce a difference voltage. So that is passed through a low pass filter having a transfer function f of s. This will be usually a first order low pass filter using resistance and capacitance. Okay, first order low pass filter. The general transfer function of a first order low pass filter is omega c divided by s plus omega c. Okay. Then that difference frequency will be passed through an amplifier with a gain K. Okay. So you will be getting the error voltage. This is the output of the PLL V. Okay. So this error voltage is used to control the VCO, okay, control signal. Okay. So you can find out the overall transfer function since it's a feedback control loop. So as you know, for a feedback control loop, like a feedback amplifier, negative feedback amplifier, overall gain with the feedback is A divided by 1 plus A beta. Where A is the forward loop gain, beta is the feedback factor. Okay. So if you break this feedback loop and find out the forward loop gain through this thing, then this is that transfer function will be forward loop transfer function will be KD into f of s into Ka into K0 into 1 by s. That will be the forward loop transfer function. Okay. So you have got three constant phase detector gain, then amplifier gain and sensitivity of the PCO. These three constant can be combined into a single constant Kv. Okay, so Kv into f of s divided by 1 by s. Okay. So then overall transfer function you can find it out by the basic feedback loop control system formula A divided by 1 plus A beta. So Ts divided by 1 plus beta factor is taken by unity 1 plus A beta. So your overall transfer function will be this one. Kv into f of s divided by s plus Kv into f of s. Okay. So in the natural input phase, as s tends to 0, okay, then transfer function tends to infinity. Okay. This forward transfer as s tends to 0, this transfer function tends to infinity. That means even That means that the transfer function gain, the gain of the transfer function is very high. That is for a very small input change, phase shift itself. This VCO phase will try to catch up. Okay. That's a basic idea. Okay. Due to that integration, one by S. Okay. The loop gain T affect both the dynamics and stability of the PLL. In terms, TS is strongly influenced by the transfer function of your low pass filter. The number of poles in the transfer function, so H of S defines the order of the loop. Okay. There are first order PLL and second order PLL depending upon the order. Okay. Depending on the number of poles in the transfer function. The number of 1 by S or integration present within the loop defines the type of the loop. Okay. How many number of integrations? Okay. That is the first or second order. Okay. Because the 1 by S function is associated with the VCO, PLL is at least first type 1 and its order is equal to the order of the filter plus 1. The basic PLLIC, analog PLLIC earlier it was used was 565, okay, monolithic IC 565. Okay, this is the block diagram of the PLL 565 and its pin layout. It is a 14 pin IC, monolithic IC with a phase detector, VCO and amplifier built inside. So it has got the phase detector. There are two input to the phase detector, pin number 2 and 3 along with the another input, okay, pin number 5. Then it has got a inbuilt amplifier. Then there is a inbuilt resistance 3.6 that will be formed as the part of the low pass filter along with the externally connected capacitance C2. Okay. This internal resistance along with the external capacitance C2 will be acting as the low pass filter. It's the output of the low pass filter. Okay. So demodulated output, this is the actual output of a PLL. Okay. Then you can get a reference output also. Then the low pass filtered output is used as a controlling signal to the VCO. So this is the VCO output in number 4. The VCO free running frequency will be determined by the external connected resistance R1 and C1. Okay. So depending upon the value of the resistance R1 and C1, you can control the free running frequency of the VCO. VCO output waveform will be square wave. Okay. Across the capacitance, you have the sawtooth waveform. Okay. This is a negative supply to the PLL 565. Number 10 is the positive power supply. The basic application of the PLL will be as a frequency divider, frequency multiplier, frequency synthesizer. Synthesizing means you can get a frequency, another frequency from a given input frequency obtained from a crystal oscillator. Then it can be used as a AM coherent detector, frequency modulation demodulator, frequency shift keying demodulator, phase shifter, signal synchronizer. The basic application for PLL was the FM demodulation. As you know, frequency modulation means the carrier frequency will be varied according to the modulating signal. Okay. So the frequency of input, the FM frequency will be varied according to the modulating signal. So if you are giving an FM signal as the input to the PLL, then if the carrier frequency of FM is equal to the VCO's free running frequency, then the PLL will acquire the back and capture with the input frequency and it will be under the low condition. So under the low condition, this PLL frequency or the VCO frequency will be try to catch up with the FM signal. So under the low condition, FM signal frequency and VCO frequency will be exactly same. Then the phase due to the PLL operation, the difference we can see will be nothing but the your demodulated FM signal. Okay. So the basic application of your PLL was FM demodulation. This is a F1 demodulation circuit using monolithic IC 565. Okay, so the to the pin number 2 input of the phase detector pin number 2, we are giving F1 signal. Another input to the phase detector is 3 is grounded. Actual second input to the phase detector is nothing but the input from output frequency from the VCO. So number 4 and 5 are shorted together. So VCO output. Okay. So R1 and C1 will form the external components which will determine the free running frequency of the PLL. Free running frequency of 565 is given by this expression. F0 is equal to 0.3 divided by R1 C1. Okay. This R1 C1 is these two external resistance and capacitance that will determine the free running frequency. Okay. Then this capacitance C2 will determine the lower cutoff frequency of your low pass filter along with this resistance, internal resistance 3.6 kilohertz. This capacitance, internal capacitance will determine the lower cutoff frequency of the lower cutoff frequency of the low pass filter. Okay. If the bandwidth of the low pass filter is less, then the lock range will be lesser. Yeah, you can increase the bandwidth and can the lock range will be or capture range will be higher. Yeah. Lock range will be given by this basic expression. Lock range will be plus or minus 8 f0. F0 is the free running frequency. 8 f0 divided by V. V is the supply voltage. It has got positive supply and negative supply. In this case, it has taken to be plus 6 volt and minus 6 volt. So it is plus or minus 6. Okay. Then capture range FC will be equal to that. Capture range will be in turn will depends upon the lock range. So capture range is plus or minus 1 by 2 pi root of 2 pi F1. This is the lock range. 2 pi lock range divided by R2C2. Okay, R2C2 will be the your low pass filter capacitance and resistance. Okay, so this low pass filter will determine the capture range. Okay, so higher the bandwidth of the or cutoff frequency of the low pass filter, lower will the capture range. Then another application, second application of your PLL is as a frequency synthesizer. Okay. You can synthesize frequency from a given input frequency. If you are given input frequency, you can get another frequency as an output. Okay. So that's a frequency synthesizer. So this much is your PLL along with a divide by n network. Divide by n network. Okay. So VCO output frequency is a pulse or square wave. So divide by n network is nothing but a digital flip-flops. Okay. So if you are passing a clock pulse through a single flip-flop, the output frequency is divided by 2. So if you have to divide by 10, you have to use a decade counter. Okay. So divide by n network nothing but a flip-flop or counters in digital terms. So you are giving an input frequency from a crystal oscillator. So if the PLL is under the low condition, this F0 will be equal to Fi. But F0 is VCO frequency divided by N. VCO frequency is divided by N using a flip-flop. Okay. So F0 will be VCO frequency divided by N. So this output frequency will be N times F0. Okay. So F1 will be N times F0. That means output frequency will be this VCO frequency will be F1 divided by N. Okay. So output frequency of the PLL will be divided by input frequency by a factor N, determined by the number of flip-flops or the counter. okay, decade counter or mode 4 counter, etc. So this is a circuit diagram for a frequency synthesizer using PLL. So this is a PLL connector. Okay. This capacitance forms the part of your low pass filter along with the internal resistance. This R1 C1 will form the VCO's free running frequency determining components. Then this PLL output is given to a decade counter, a binary counter here exactly. Now it is 7490 digital IC is configured as a binary counter. So it has got 4 flip flops. So it has got a first QA is a first flip flop output. So the output frequency will be divided by 2. If you are selecting the switch here, it is divided by 4. QC third flip flop will be divided by 8, and this binary counter 4-bit binary counter maximum one is 16. Okay, so this divided by 16. So that is given as the input to the PLL. Okay. So PLL output frequency will be input frequency divided by whatever the selection you are taking. Okay, if you are selecting to the 4, okay, divided by 4 selection to be output, then output frequency of PLL will be input frequency divided by 4. The third application for the PLL is frequency shifting decoding. Frequency shifting means in digital signal you have got ones and zeros. Okay. But you cannot transmit this square waveform through a transmission line because this square waveform contains a high frequency at the edges and the DC signal, zero frequency at the top and bottom. Okay. That means the bandwidth of a digital signal will be very high, very theoretically infinity. Okay. So that will be requiring a larger bandwidth for the transmission, and the waveform will be getting distorted. So instead of transmitting ones and zeros as such, we will be transmitting two set of frequencies. For zero for digital zero, you may be using one set of frequency. For one in digital, we will be setting another set of frequency. Usually, two set of frequency 1270 hertz and 1070 hertz. That will determine that will depict the zeros and ones. So you will be using the PLL to demodulate this frequency shifting. So once the PLL is locked with the input signal, so the output of a PLL will be proportional to the input frequency. So that is a two DC voltages. Okay. So you can use a ladder network filter to filter out. So we'll be getting a DC voltage corresponding to these two frequencies. So for one, you may be getting one set of voltage, and zeros frequency you will be getting another set of voltage. So you can demodulate your frequency shifting digital signal using a PLL. And the fourth application of PLL is PLL can be used as a coherent AM detection. As you know, amplitude modulation means it will be having the amplitude of the carrier will be varied according to modulating signal. So it will be having a carrier signal along with two sidebands, lower sideband and upper sideband. It's a general expression for the AM signal. Okay. LT is a modulated signal. Okay. LT. Okay. So 1 plus V is a carrier voltage. Okay. Into 1 plus LT into sin omega CT. Omega C. Okay. Carrier frequency is omega C. Okay. So if this AM signal is multiplied with the carrier signal, A sin omega CT plus a phase shift. If the AM signal, if this AM signal is multiplied with a carrier signal with some phase shift, okay, then when you are multiplying two sine waves, you will be getting cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. So it will be cos A is this one, cos B is this one. Okay, sine A is this one and B is this one. So you will be getting cos theta minus cos theta. Okay, so you are multiplying your AM signal along with the carrier signal. Okay, AM signal using a multiplier, unload multiplier. Then if you are passing through a low pass filter, this high frequency component will be eliminated. Okay, so you will be getting this one. Okay, AM 1 plus MT into cos theta. Okay. So that has got the original modulating signal, the phase shift. Okay. This high frequency component will be eliminated. Okay. That's a basic principle of coherent dictation. So if you can multiply AM signal with the original carrier frequency, you can get a demodulated signal, modulated signal. Okay. That is a basic principle of coherent dictation. The advantage is that it eliminates the intermediate frequency filter and need not for additional oscillator. Okay. In case of a super heterogeneous receivers, you should have a local oscillator to generate the carrier frequency, and it has to be tuned. Okay. And second advantage, the elimination of IF filter also eliminates the need of the image rejection filters. That's advantage for going in coherent detection. So PLL can be used to demodulate AM using coherent detection like that. Okay. So AM signal is given to the phase lock loop. So VCO output will be, so once the PLL got locked with the AM signal, VCO output frequency will be exactly same as the carrier frequency of the AM signal. So you will be recovering the original carrier of the AM signal. Since under the local condition, PLL frequency will be 180-degree out of phase with the input frequency. You should give a 90-degree phase shift to the AM signal. Then these two signals, original AM signal shifted by 90-degree phase shift, is multiplied with a carrier signal recovered using PLL. Then using an unload multiplier, then if you are passing through a low pass filter, then you will be getting the demodulated AM. It's a basic use of a ALL as a coherent AM detection. These are the few related sites. You can go through those.